The shocking Changsha incident, severed pillars and a ticking time bomb. In Changsha, Hunan province, a chilling discovery sent shockwaves through the community. The main pillars, the backbone of high-end residential towers, were deliberately cut from the inside. It began when a resident renovating their home found reinforcing steel bars completely severed, leaving the building at risk of collapsing at any moment. This was no isolated incident. Of the 132 apartments in the complex, 96 were similarly compromised. Homeowners who paid 3 to 4 million yuan, about $500,000 for their dream homes, were left with a ticking time bomb. Viral videos on Douyin showed desperate residents, including a woman dubbed Jinxin's mother, sobbing as she described leaking bathrooms, flooded hallways, and broken elevators. The tragedy's peak came when one homeowner took their own life, overwhelmed by the grim reality. The cause? Contractors had cut pillars to accommodate kitchen doors, prioritizing convenience over safety. Instead of taking action, local authorities shut down elevators for maintenance to punish protesting residents, forcing them to climb dozens of floors in swelteringly unbearable heat. This is a stark example of criminal negligence, where human lives were sacrificed for personal gain. Tofu projects and ghost cities. The disaster extends far beyond Changsha, with tofu projects, a derisive term for buildings as fragile as tofu, plaguing China. In Henan, the Xingyun Garden saw ceilings collapse just 18 months after construction, exposing rusted steel despite safety certifications. In Bayanur, Inner Mongolia, a 22-story tower split in half in 2024, with authorities hastily demolishing it overnight to erase evidence. Ghost cities like Ordos or abandoned urban developments in Chongqing stand empty, never touched by human life. These were built not for real demand, but to inflate GDP figures and enrich officials. Millions of apartments sold out before completion now rot, cracked walls, warped balconies, and creaking staircases. Viral videos of ceilings collapsing in the dead of night or foundations shifting off-center have fueled public outrage. This is the result of a burst property bubble, compounded by an aging population and a bleak job market, leaving young people unable to afford homes. These glittering towers, rotten at their core, are not just technical failures, but symbols of a crumbling system. Root causes: profit over safety and entrenched corruption. Behind these collapsing buildings lies a perfect storm of three forces: profit over human lives, corruption at every level, and a frenzied pace of construction. For decades, real estate was the fastest path to wealth, with developers like Country Garden amassing fortunes by erecting towers in half the standard time. Diluted concrete, scrap steel, and skipped waterproofing cut costs. Buyers poured life savings into pre-construction deposits, lured by promises that home ownership equaled security. But corruption runs rampant. Local officials, often with stakes in projects, approve buildings without inspections. Bribes secure passing grades from inspectors who never visit sites. A 2022 investigation in Sichuan revealed nearly a third of new housing projects were never properly inspected, not due to incompetence, but systemic bribery. The CCP, pushing urbanization to eradicate poverty, created an environment where speed trumped stability and image outweighed truth. The result? Brand new buildings disintegrate, from deep cracks to leaking pipes, turning dreams into nightmares. The role of local authorities and the CCP in the cover-up. Local authorities under CCP leadership not only turn a blind eye, but actively conceal the crisis. In Changsha, after residents complained, a team from Hunan University, led by Professor Chen Dachuan, claimed the severed pillars were merely secondary and the building would not collapse. Yet a Xinhua report revealed over 90% of the pillars were damaged, with exposed steel bars. The solution? Retroactive reinforcement, not immediate accountability. The developer, Changsha Real Estate, a state-owned enterprise, formed a task force to coordinate, but residents demanded independent national inspections. The CCP, fearing that admitting failure would shatter the illusion of urban progress, repeated excuses, rare accidents, harsh weather. They suppressed viral videos and labeled whistleblowers as rumor mongers. This is part of a broader strategy to maintain an image of stability to bolster power, even at the cost of lives. These dark secrets expose a weakening political system where the CCP prioritizes control over justice. Censorship and suppression, forced silence. On social media, clips of broken elevators, leaking ceilings, and crumbling staircases spread like wildfire, only to vanish hours later under the CCP's censorship machine. In Yuyao, Jiaxing, residents refused to move in due to rumors of instability, but complaints were buried in bureaucratic red tape. Those daring to organize protests faced harassment, threats, and police surveillance. One netizen wrote, "If inspectors are so confident, let them move in first." Such comments were swiftly deleted. The CCP's internet controls silenced dissent, framing the crisis as rumors. This not only hides the problem, but deepens social unrest, as citizens feel betrayed by a system meant to protect them. Censorship cannot erase the sound of cracking concrete, but it erodes trust in the government, fostering a society rife with skepticism and simmering anger. Impact on families and society, shattered dreams and rising fury. The most painful collapse is not in concrete, but in the hearts of ordinary families. For decades, homeownership was the only path to stability. Parents drained savings, couples signed 30-year mortgages, migrant workers sent money home. Now, in Xi'an, ceilings are patched with cardboard. In Chongqing, towers are evacuated for normal subsidence. Many lie awake, fearing collapse. Personal tragedies like the suicide in Changsha or a 2022 case in Jiangsu where someone jumped from a country garden apartment lacking proper documentation reflect profound despair. Society is shifting. Young people delay marriage, opt to rent or emigrate, contributing to population decline. Protests have erupted in Shandong and Guangdong, with crowds demanding refunds for rubble apartments. These are the aftershocks of a societal earthquake, where shattered dreams fuel fury, threatening the stability the CCP strives to maintain. Economic crisis, a burst bubble, and a financial black hole. Real estate once accounted for nearly a third of China's economy, but is now a gaping black hole. The burst bubble has pushed developers like Country Garden, infamous for a 2025 video of walls torn apart by wind, to cut corners even further. Thinner walls, brittle steel, neglected maintenance. Banks buckle under bad loans, and local governments, reliant on land sales, are cash-strapped. The financial toll from Changsha's 2022 collapse reached 90 million yuan, but the nationwide cost is staggering. Millions of abandoned apartments, plummeting property values, and ghost neighborhoods. The ripple effects are devastating. Markets shutter, jobs vanish, growth stalls. The CCP masks this with inflated data, but the reality is a shrinking economy, mired in debt and evaporating investor confidence. Historical and recent examples. A recurring pattern. This disaster is not new. In 2022, a self-built Changsha apartment collapsed, killing 54 due to illegal expansions and ignored oversight. The owner was jailed for 12 years, 62 officials punished, yet lessons went unlearned. In 2023, Shenzhen evacuated 3,000 residents over cracks. In 2024, Country Garden faced complaints about rust after just 2 years. Engineers warn that severed pillars weaken structures, causing brittle collapses without warning. A 2024 study by Gala et al. Noted beams lacking steel lose load-bearing capacity rapidly. These incidents are not random, but part of a pattern in a system where the CCP prioritizes artificial growth over real safety. A comprehensive picture of China under the CCP. The housing crisis is stark evidence of a China facing a multifaceted disaster, a collapsing economy with a burst bubble, social unrest with protests and eroded trust, and a faltering political system as the CCP hides secrets to cling to power. Collapsing towers are not just structural failures, but symbols of broken promises, shattered futures, and a society losing its foundation. Under CCP control, corruption and censorship persist, but the ground is no longer solid. The question remains, will this storm be suppressed, or will it bring down the entire system? What are your thoughts on this issue? Share your opinions in the comments. We'll continue updating on China's housing crisis. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for the latest videos. Thank you for watching.